Hey, you guys, Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Today's Friday. We're going into the weekend, so I don't know what day it is for you guys, what time it is, but thank you so much for joining me. To all the new subscribers, thank you for supporting me. I'm excited. My weekend is starting. I actually get a little time off tomorrow. Got to go to a dentist appointment, but other than that, I get to rest. Yes, I want you guys to rest. Today, I just wanted to come and I wanted to revisit a topic that I talked about before. Some of you guys are new to my YouTube channel, so I want to go back and address a topic that I addressed a long time ago, and that's the 3 phases of narcissistic relationship cycles. So, you have those of you that learned a lot from domestic violence programs, and they teach you about the honeymoon phase, the tension building, the blow up, the honeymoon phase. Well, now, if you go over to those that have narcissistic personality disorder, or we suspect may have narcissistic personality disorder, those individuals that is dysfunctional, those people that have something mentally wrong with them, emotionally, psychologically wrong with them, you can add to that. And those phases are idealization, devaluation, and discard. So, and then of course you got the other little phases that you go through and everything. I add the Hoover and then back to the idealization. So in the idealization phase is usually where you find the love bombing. In the love bombing, it feels so good. You have to remember that during this phase, they're looking for a supply. They usually hone in. Remember the predator. Go back and watch Narcissist versus Predator. They hone in and they determine whether or not you are, first of all, worth coming after. Number 2, because they're going to do little things to see whether or not you are worth hunting, or if you are a person that will cause too much narcissistic injury. So they're already trying you. They're already putting the bait out there. They're already having little conversations with you. They're already speaking to you. They can tell when a person, what do the young people say when a person is thirsty? They can tell when a person is thirsty. They can tell when somebody really wants to be in a relationship, or they're flattered by the comments that they get. So they'll give comments. They may bring you a gift. See how you react. So they're trying to tread into the water. They're trying to see like, okay, is this person worth, pursuing? Or if you're just a person, and if you're a challenge, especially like for the somatic, where you may have something, you're pretty, you kind of stuck on yourself, you bougie, and you may be a challenge. But they've already figured out that there is some type of weakness somewhere. They're looking for it. When they finally get a conversation, and for some of them, it's a challenge anyway. They just want a notch on their belt. They want to prove something to their friends, male or female, that I can get this individual because no one can get her or no one can get him. So during that time, they start love bombing. Well, you start having a conversation with them. So while you're having a conversation, they're good listeners. I've never met anybody that just listens to me and talks. Then they ask you questions. They want to know questions about you. Just like a therapist, when you come into therapy, I ask a lot of questions because I need you to draw the picture of your life. I need to know what your life was like so I can figure out the holes and the gaps. Why do you do the things you do? Why do you act the way that you do? So imagine me doing intake with you and gathering information and trying to find information about your past to understand why you act the way you do, what is going on in your life, why is your behavior like it is, why do you not trust men, why do you not trust women, what's going on? So me as a behavioral health specialist, a mental health professional, I gather information so I can draw a picture in my head to put the puzzle pieces together. Well, if me as a professional does that, imagine what the narcissist is doing. They're gathering information about you so they can figure out where are the holes, where are the gaps. And you give them enough information so they can play a role, so they can take upon that role to be everything that you say that you can't stand. They're going to be everything that you want them to be. If you got daddy issues, if you got mama issues, if you hate liars, if you hate this, everything that you're telling them, you're writing their script for the movie. You're writing their script. And so it is very intense. If you're not accustomed to touch, and you want touch, and like my ex-husband or my ex-wife wouldn't even touch me. They wouldn't do this. They wouldn't give me compliments. And this is the one thing that I hate the most. And I'm hurt and I'm working on myself. So I'm not really ready for a relationship. And you're telling them entirely too much. You're giving them everything negative about you so that they can fill that role. So they know what to do to pull you in, because they're going to be everything you want them to be, like a drug dealer. The drug dealer doesn't make you pay for the drugs first. They let you play with the drugs for a little while. They give it to you for free. You my girl. You my boy. Go ahead and take the drugs. They give you enough to get you addicted to it. Once you're addicted to it, you're going to have to start paying for it. So everything they do during the love bombing phase is for the purpose of you paying them back. They're keeping tabs. If they spend this amount of money, when they say this right here, I make you feel like this. I go into debt doing this. I'm using other people's credit cards. I'm using my old supplies or my current supplies credit card. I'm a wine and dine you. You've never been to nice restaurants. You're a classy lady. So I'm going to make sure they're going to debt. You're a classy lady. You can afford to do this. You're a guy that you can do this. for females normally are nurturers. Now, true enough, you do have females that are not nurturers. Sometimes something's wrong with them, but sometimes they're raised in a household full of men, or the fathers raised them. And so that nurturing side, how can a man really teach you really to not over nurture, but to nurture, because that's really not in their character. So they do the best that they can to raise up daughters. Likewise, for a woman that's raising a son, we can do an awesome job raising a man. We can do an awesome job raising men and sons. But there's something missing when you don't have that. You have something to look at. You have a man figure, a figure to look at. Even with the females, they may have never heard a man's voice. You may have never smelt a man's cologne, while you were in the home. You never heard a man correct you. There's something about the authority of a man, that makes a little girl itchy. A mom can holler all day long. When a father says something, there's something in the authority in his voice. There's something about a father that makes you feel protected. And I'm not talking about dysfunctional fathers or fathers that are toxic or molesting their kids. I'm talking about those fathers that do their best to protect their children. And there's something about the strength of a man, the protection of a man as a father, that little girl, that's what you look for. But if it's not there, you don't know what you're looking for. So all your life, remember I said in the video, your compass is looking for something that you're not accustomed to. You're trying to create a picture in your head of what a man is supposed to be like, or what a woman is supposed to be like. And if you had an abusive mother, you tend to either gravitate to abusive mother, women, or you tend to be an abuser because every woman has to pay the price for what your mother has done. So you have to remember that with a narcissist in that love bombing phase, you're giving them all this information. So they're trying to figure out the role that they're going to play. And that is the best conversation they have. They're emotional. They look for women are attracted by what they hear. Men are attracted by what they see. Women will be seductive, show all that cleavage. They'll do whatever they can to impress that man, and come around and smell good. And a man knows what to say to pull that woman in. So that's why they listen, because I'm going to say and fill in those gaps. I'm going to fill in them holes. I'm going to put the words in the sentences where the word is missing. So that's what they do. So that's male and female narcissists. Male, female narcissists. They still do the same thing. So that's the love bombing phase. And that's the best and most of you guys, when they discard you, you break up with them, or you're in the midst of this trauma with them, that trauma bonding phase, I just wish that you would go back to, you changed. You're not the man or the woman that I've met. They'll never come back, because they were never the man or woman that you met. That was a facade. That was a character that they played. It's almost like, what is it? The bait and swap. I'm going to put this bait out here, and once you bite into it, we're going to swap. I'm going to give you something that really doesn't exist, because the mask is going to fall. I got you now. You're not going anywhere. You're pretty secured and locked in. You see what I mean? And so they've locked you in now. And eventually that mask starts falling. But even in that love bombing phase, that idealization phase where you're the best thing they've ever had. I've never met anybody like you. You're the most beautiful woman I've ever had. I've never had anything, because, my ex-wife, my ex-husband, and my last boo, there's no one like you. You're the best. And I want to do it all over again, because I made mistakes in my last relationships, and I just want to do it right this time. And I want to show you that I love you, and I want to do everything that my ex-wife or my ex-husband didn't appreciate. They didn't appreciate this, and you appreciate me. And I just want to give you everything that they didn't appreciate. I want to give it to you because you deserve it. They're already devaluing you, because they're already testing your boundaries. They're seeing how far they can go. Little jokes, little things that they do. Will you pay the tab? Will you do this? So they're already testing your boundaries. The joke that goes a little too far and like, oh, you know what? Please forgive me. I didn't mean to say that. But they're testing to see how far you go. They're testing how much pressure they can put on you. They see how far your boundaries go, whether they can cross your boundaries. And they do it all the time. It's just that you're not aware of it. You're not paying attention to it. So by the time you get to the devalue stage, you're already in the midst of the trauma bonding. Now the trauma bonding starts. And that is what you normally would look at as the Stockholm syndrome, the Patty Hearst story. If you go find out about the Patty Hearst story. So this is when you have a person that is capable of inflicting pain or has the power of life and death, meaning they can kill you or they let you live. And you're so afraid, and people don't know what they would do when they are so petrified or so afraid that all they want to do is live. And when all they want to do is live, oftentimes they will compromise. They will put aside everything that they've ever learned, and they will compromise, and they'll be be out of character just to cater to the person that has the ability to take their life. And that's a part of PTSD. They develop PTSD from that, but they'll do whatever they can to survive, meaning all of a sudden they fall in love because the emotions are just wide open, and I'll do whatever you want me to do so I can live. I'll even help you rob the bank. I help you do this. And with that trauma bonding phase, that devalue that trauma bonding phase, that narcissist is able to take you to the highs and to the lows, love you the best way that they can and make you feel good, and then dog you out, cuss you out, gaslight you, make you crazy making, make you feel like you're crazy, question your sanity, make you question your sanity. And you're thinking like, what did I do? I don't understand. You're trying to be better for this person. If you just do this, or if you just say this, or if you would just lose weight, or, the problem is, and the only problem I got is the reason why I don't come home is because. And so you're doing everything that you possibly can to fix yourself to make this person love you. You even try to buy them to make, but it's not you. It's them. So the trauma bonding, and then they have the power to make you smile, to make you happy, to make you feel good about yourself, to love you just right. Some of you say that it's the best sex you've ever had. Your emotions are everywhere. That oxytocin and those dopamine and serotonin is everywhere. And then they pull the plug and they do it again. And to them, it's a thrill because in their mind, I have the power to cause you to react. That's the feel that they need to make them feel empowered. And then the discard phase. In between that time, that mask is already falling out. You're not falling off, but you're like that brand new, in the very beginning, idealization, you're that brand new car with that leather smell. And by the time you get to that devaluation stage, that new leather smell has wore off. They're already on the hunt because you're not giving them enough fuel that they need. And what they do is they already look for other supplies, so they have secondary supplies. Secondary supply is not always one person. Secondary supply can be a lot of people. And especially for the somatic that is more into their looks, their sexual conquest, there's going to be more than one secondary supply. And they're already going to love bomb other people as it is. And so in between that trauma bonding, you get the silent treatment, you get the ghosting, you get the gaslighting, back and forth. And then they may discard you. They may leave for 3 or 4 days. You don't hear anything about them. They're gone. And so, say that they try to connect with someone and it just didn't work. So then all of a sudden they come back as if nothing ever happened. And then when you confront them about it, what they tell you is the reason why I left is because you make me feel and I feel uneasy, and you make me feel and you make me feel. So here you go trying to adjust the environment for him or her, to accommodate and try to figure out, how do I fix this? It's not you, it's them. So that's the discard. And sometimes the discard is they leave without even mentioning that they're going anywhere. All of a sudden they're gone and you're wondering like, okay, this is normally a phase that so you've accepted this. This is normally a phase that they go through. This time I'm just going to let them go through their little phase and they'll be back. Then you let a few months, they may talk to you from time to time, talk to you on the phone from time to time. But all of a sudden you find out they're in a whole different relationship already. And they're talking about getting married, or they're living with somebody. And you're thinking like, wait a minute, when did we break up? I thought you were going through another phase. And this time I wasn't going to bother you. I'll let you get it out your system until you come home. And all of a sudden they act like you're crazy. I don't know why you bother me. I mean, what is the problem? You knew we were broke up. We're not together. They've already been smearing your name to the new supply. And the new supply, we were broke up. You were never broke up. Some of you guys were still married and they were living with somebody else, playing house, pretending they were married, wearing rings, driving in the cars together, presenting themselves as if they were a couple and this is my fiance. And you don't know anything about it. You don't know anything about it until they get caught up. And then when they get caught up, you're crazy. See, I told you she was crazy. I told you he was crazy. What is going on? And you're confused like, wait a minute. How do you just walk out like we were never together? How you just walk out as if we never had anything? So some of you guys are going through that. And then what if you discard? Regardless of whether you discard or they discard and you just decide, okay, fine, I'll file for a divorce or I'll just go get some child support. That's fine. Live your life. Do you, boo-boo? They'll get mad because they didn't get the reaction they wanted from you. They wanted you to throw yourself in front of the car, throw yourself off of a bridge, cut your wrist, cut your throat, overdose, do something. But they did not get the reaction that they wanted from you. So then all of a sudden it's the gaslighting again. And then all of a sudden, it's almost like you did something wrong, as if you did something wrong. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. You left. No, that's not. And they'll make it seem like you're the one who left. Or if it's bad enough, they're like, yeah, I had to leave this fool. I had to leave this crazy person. You see what I'm saying? So later on, if they're not getting enough fuel, or if they're with this new person and they're not getting that copious amount of fuel that they got from you, meaning the long-term supply, you don't put it with so much, you were abused, and it shows, you're waiting for that person to come back, but you were the one that provided with the copious amount of fuel, meaning you're the one that cried, you're the one who hunted him down, you're the one who stalked him, you're the one, why? They're getting fuel when you do that, and they just play this role. Once you stop doing it, they're not getting any fuel from you, and you just let it be. All of a sudden, there's a Hoover. So they're trying to hoover, and they go back to the golden age, the bronze age. They go back to where it was in the beginning. I'm gonna say everything that I got and I said to you in the very beginning to get you. I'll play the music. I'll wear the cologne. I'll wear the perfume. I'll drive the car. I'll wear the clothes that you like. I'll wear the hairstyle, the jewelry. I'll do everything. I'll twerk it like you used to like it. I can't twerk, but anyway. But some of you fall for that Hoover, and guess what? The idealization stage starts again, the love bombing. But every time you go back, it gets shorter and shorter and shorter. And some of you are like, I can't get myself out of the cycle. And some of you need to break the cycle. Some of you do. And that is no contact, gray rock for those of you that have children, and finding sources to assist you to get out of the situation. In some situation where you have children, you just can't get up and leave because they can take you to court and say that you kidnapped the children. Because in certain, in most states, parents have rights. So you need to use an agency that can assist you in these situations. For example, domestic violence programs that can assist you getting out the situation without them pulling you into court saying that you kidnapped their kids. And if you have properties and things like that, you need legal assistance. Hopefully this has helped you. Thank you so much. Today's Friday. I'm ready for my Friday because I'm going to sleep. I am going to sleep, honey. So I hope some of you guys are going to sleep and get you a break and get you some rest. I appreciate your support. Please go check out my mentor's YouTube channel. It is Helen Sadler, Destiny Helper. And make sure that you make sure you share the videos. You never know who's going to get help. Some of you are wondering, what do you say to your families and your friends? Sometimes you may not have to say anything. Sometimes they're just interested in what you're watching. And when you post the videos without you knowing, and sometimes they won't even tell you. They'll start watching the videos. And if you have a good video that you want them to hear, just post the video on your, post your video on your Facebook, post it on your social media, and you'll never know. Sometimes you're helping people and you have no idea who you're helping. And I'm so appreciative that you do that. You can find me on Facebook. I'm on Overcoming Narcissist Abuse and Psychological Health Consultants and Services. YouTube. You can find me on Instagram. I'm even on TikTok now, y'all. I'm being like the young people, the young folks. It's 60-second videos. So I am on TikTok, honey. So you can go look at me. I think it's Dr. Carmen Bryant. I don't know. I think it's Overcoming Narcissist, Dr. Carmen Bryant. You can find me there. And I'm doing like 60-second videos. It limits my time. On here, I got more time. But I am on TikTok now, so I'm starting all over on TikTok. You guys stay tuned because I am getting my Patreon set up this time for real. I'm getting my page. It's much easier to do this one than the Facebook, the web page that I was trying to do. So I'm getting my Patreon set up. You guys stay tuned because I got some stuff coming up in 2021, and I am excited. So I am appreciative. Also, those of you that are looking for coaching, you are always welcome to contact me at drcarmenbryant@outlook.com. You can find all the information underneath my YouTube video. I come on live on Sundays between 7, 8, depending on, because usually I'm with Apostle Helen Sadler on Sundays. So by the time I get back, sometimes it's early, sometimes it's not. So anywhere between 6 to 8 o'clock, I usually come on. It just takes me time because I'm out of town and then I have to come back home. And sometimes it's a little late. So I do come on live on Sundays. If I don't, I usually post it in YouTube in my community tab so you guys can see it in there. And also for those of you that need counseling, some of you need counseling. Not coaching. You need counseling first. You got to deal with that post-traumatic stress. You got to deal with that complex PTSD. Some of you dealing with anxiety and sleep problems. Some of you guys need assistance and some recommendations to med providers to get you some, for those of you that don't mind medication, get you some medication to help you during this transition in this process when you have these are mental health, emotional problems. Some of you guys need a grief and loss counselor to help you through this process. Once you get through this process and find out some new coping skills, then you come find a coach. The coach is going to help you process and get yourself back on your feet and get your goals, set goals and what are you doing and hold you accountable. So coaching is me. And if you're in the state of Washington, counseling, I will provide you with counseling. However, my books are filling up so fast, and they stay full. So it's very hard for me to squeeze people in there a lot of times. But, coaching, I do have availability some availability, but you guys got to jump on it while you have a chance. And if you need counseling, you can also look at betterhelp.com/Dr. Carmen. And it's a vetted site. People have said really great things about it. Good information. When you're looking for a counselor, ask them questions. Do they understand PTSD? Do they understand domestic violence? Do they understand parental alienation? Do they understand all that? Do you understand the effects of domestic violence? You can even ask, do you understand narcissist abuse? But what it is domestic violence. Ask them, and you can get by clicking on my link, you get a 10% discount. And on top of that, if you're having financial problems, let them know they can assist you. They may give you a grant to help you to decrease the price, but it's a nominal fee. It's not a lot of money to get help. You are your greatest investment. Your mind, your emotions, you are your greatest investment. You spend a lot of money on a lot of things that are, let's say, what's the word? Aesthetically pleasing. But your mind and your heart, your soul, your mental health is an investment. And you got to get that once you lose that, it's not coming back. You can lose clothes, you can lose housing, but once you lose your mind, your emotions, and yourself, it's the hardest thing to get back. So some of you need counseling. BetterHelp.com/Dr. Carmen. Look right up underneath my video. All the information is there. And once again, you guys go and have a wonderful weekend. And as I always say, go and be great.